Welcome back once again to howtocookgreatfood.com. If you haven't already, please click that button and subscribe to our channel. Also, please take time to click the bell icon just below for notifications. On the menu today, we're going to do curry goat or goat curry, West Indian style, Jamaican style, whatever you want to call that. Absolutely delicious, super tender, slow cooked. Let's go and take a look at the ingredients that we need. So let's take a look at the ingredients we're using today. Star of the show is our goat. That's goat meat, bone in. I've even got a few kind of chops there as well. Fresh thyme, tomatoes, green onions, scallions, or spring onions, whatever you call them. Curry powder. Now, curry powder, you need to use a West Indian or Jamaican curry powder, which is very different than an Indian one. I'll leave a link at the end on how to make that. Or depending where you are in the world, you'll be able to buy it in a store. You can certainly buy it online. Onion, I'm using red, chopped. One Scotch bonnet or habanero, up to you. These are real fire. They're really hot, but absolutely delicious taste. Here I've got garlic and ginger. I've got mine minced into a paste. A little bit of cinnamon stick, a few cloves there. And in here, the big guys, if you can see them, that's allspice or pimento. And the small guys are peppercorns. I just put the peppercorns in so you can see the difference. People sometimes confuse them. Those peppercorns are also going to go in the dish like that. Bay leaf. There we've got some bay leaf, just a couple of bay leaves there. And here is the ground allspice or pimento. They're just there, which is going to add a lovely flavour. We're going to add some salt, some pepper. We're going to start this off with some oil. This is absolutely fabulous. Okay, so you're going to need a large pan or a saucepan or something like that. I'm really lucky that I've got my Dutchie here. I've got in there some oil. I'm using a corn oil in the bottom, and the heat is on fairly low. What we're going to do is we're going to chop in our meat first. And you can see I've got some chops and some lovely chunks of lovely bone in there. Just as a point of interest, when I got this from the butchers, it's actually from Sudan. It's Sudanese goat I've got here. So in that goes, and what we're going to do for about 4 or 5 minutes is just throw this around in the pan just by itself. We're not adding anything else at this stage. Let's just get a little bit of colour on it and get it moving. Okay, so we've just got a little bit of colour on there. Of course, nowhere near cooked. And it's at this stage we're going to start to add a few spices. So let's get in those whole allspice or pimento and those whole black peppercorns. Let's get in that little bit of cinnamon and those cloves. Bay leaf. Some ground black pepper, quite a lot. I quite like a lot of this in there. Salt. And I'm going to drop in that onion that's cut really small. Now I'm going to drop in our habanero or Scotch bonnet, whichever one you can get. Now what I've done is keeping it whole, but I've cut it open so its flavour retains and comes out. We can fish that out later if you want, because like I say, that is very, very spicy. And then some thyme. Now I like just to throw my thyme in like that. It will break off and we can pull these twigs out later. You could be using dried thyme if you wanted. Fresh thyme is a little bit better. Okay, so let's go now for another 5 or 6 minutes, stirring often. Really, really wonderful. Now in addition to the Scotch bonnet or habanero, or if you can't get that, you can add a bit of West Indian pepper sauce. This is Encona, which I really love. So I'm actually going to drop a little bit of that in anyway. But yeah, you could use this just as a replacement if you couldn't get any fresh chilies. We're now going to add some of the allspice, the ground allspice. I'm going for like that tablespoon. And then the curry powder. Like I say, West Indian curry powder is very different. Let's get in there. 1 2, 3. Yeah, and think kind of like, it's much more sort of aromatic and fruity, like much more cinnamon and nutmeg, less cardamom, in fact 0 cardamom and cumin. You know, so it's a much lighter kind of flavour. So that we're now going to add our garlic and our ginger. Like I said, I've got that in a paste form. I've really kind of blended that together. And once more, let's go for 5 more minutes and keep this moving pretty much all the time now, because you've got the powders in there. If they burn, they will start to get a little bit bitter. Really, really wonderful. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to add fresh tomatoes in the mix there. Try and use a nice juicy tomato. Also want to get in our scallions, spring onions or green onions, whatever you call them. And then we're going to get some water. Some people would use a stock. I just like water in here. Stay on a medium heat now for about 7 to 8 minutes. What we're looking for is our tomatoes to break down and create a lovely sauce in there. We're pretty much done with the ingredients. We've just got to cook this out now. So yeah, I'm going to let this go on a kind of medium heat, 7-8 minutes with the lid on. See you then. Okay, so what we're going to do now is go to just above a simmer, not a simmer, just a little bit above. You can see that that's been raging away, and we've got a lovely amount of liquid. We've got the water that we added in, or stock if you preferred, and our tomatoes are breaking down. So what we're going to do now is lid's going to go back on this nice low heat, and for me, I'm going to let that go for about 50 minutes, 50 minutes. I'm going to give it a stir every now and then. Okay, that's been going for like 50 minutes now. It's looking wonderful. Now we're going to cook it for a further 15 to 20 minutes with the lid off. I just want it to steam out a little bit, and we're pretty much done. Give it a stir every now and then. Okay, and as you can see, in that time period, it's steamed out a bit, it's thickened and deepened, and it's wonderful. Check that for salt. What I like to do now is I like just to add a little bit of cilantro or coriander in the mix. Now some people would also add a little bit of coconut cream or coconut milk. I like this just like this. And I've made this without potatoes. Some people will be putting potatoes or even carrots in it, some do, but I'm going straight like this. Just beautiful, beautiful, deep go curry. Hope you enjoy that. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Please do click the bell icon just below for notifications. We will see you soon. Lots of love.